and running on a Monday night after a busy and wild weekend in the sports world. Alongside Jared Smith, I am Tim Murray. JVT on morning duty all week long, so you make sure to check out Mr. Von Tobel joining Mitch Moss there in the mornings. We'll hold it down here throughout the week on VSiN PrimeTime. We're live from the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Vegas. Congrats to all of you who just said, don't overthink it. Take Scotty Scheffler to win the Masters. You are a winner. I did take, and I didn't give it out on the show, so I'm not going to, beat my chest. Our best bets. It was Scotty Scheffler was not one of mine officially. I did take when Circa posted after the first round odds. I took a little at plus 165, but
nice.
All in all, Scotty Scheffler gets it done, and it was it seemed like it was going to be an eventful Sunday at Augusta, and then it wasn't, and Scotty Scheffler was able to run away and hide. So Scotty Scheffler gets it home. My guy X Xander gets a top 10 there. So all in all, it was a fine Masters. I am not Wes Reynolds. I am not Matt Humans. I am not Matt Brown, etc. here on the network. I like to bet the majors, and Scotty Scheffler gets it home. But man, it's been funny to kind of look at it because I used the analogy, Jared, early on in the week about UConn and how we kept trying to attack UConn. I guess that's not fair. A lot of people embraced UConn and said they're going to win it all, and they were absolutely right. But it felt like Scotty Scheffler was a little bit like UConn, and lo and behold, he proved to be as the favorite for the Masters, wins, the favorite for the NCAA tournament, wins, the favorite for the women's tournament, wins. So it's been a little bit of a chalky, month or so, but needless to say, Scotty Scheffler was good enough. I wouldn't even say he was untouchable. I thought he had some days where he was a bit off, but all in all, a very nice performance and another green jacket for Scotty Scheffler, and we're off and running when it comes to golf majors this year.
I thought he was I don't think
Sunday he was
untouchable.
Sunday he was incredible.
The back nine on Sunday. And again, with Scotty, I think what it was, he didn't need to be great the first three rounds. The conditions were brutal. Friday and Saturday, goodness gracious, Friday going into the cut. That cut line sweat on Friday was pure bedlam. And right, that's when Scotty kind of made his push, and you knew going into the final round it was going to be tough for someone to shoot 65 near the top. I think there was 166. Tom Kim
early in the
was
day.
The low round of the day, and everyone else at the top was kind of just treading water. But the thing about Scotty that makes him great, he doesn't blow you away with some of the the drives and he doesn't have that Tiger, ferociousness when he was making his run in the majors in the 90s and early 2000s. Scotty's just like this. Like, he's just calm. He's almost like a duck on the pond where you don't see any emotion or wasted effort from him. I was so impressed. Amen corner and then into those 14, 15, 16 holes when things were still, you pop one in the water there, anything could happen, only a 3-shot lead. But he just handled himself so well. And I think that is the demeanor of the modern day successful golfer. I think gone are the days of Tiger just lapping the field and fist bumping everywhere. You have to be steady Eddie. You have to be able to handle the ups and downs. And I don't think anyone has that championship mentality more than Scotty Scheffler.
Evan Abrams and Sports Odd History on Twitter pointed out that there have only been 3 golfers to win the Masters as a pre-tournament favorite in the past 40 years. Scotty Scheffler, Tiger Woods, and Fred Couples. So congrats to all of you who back Scotty Scheffler as he is your Masters champion. And then we flip the day right over, and we got the NBA playoffs here, some massive NHL games. Circa dropped NFL draft odds, which we will get to as they put up a whole bunch of over-under draft positions, movement aplenty. So we will do a little breakdown of that. Ben Standing, by the way, going to join us in the third hour of the show today. Curious Ben's thoughts. Ben not only covers the Washington Commanders, but he is one of the best mock drafters out there year after year. And I'm curious his thoughts because on Friday there was a video that surfaced from, I don't even know what the hell the podcast was.
SB Nation Commanders, Hog Nation, Hog something, I don't know.
Whatever that was.
Yeah.
And Adam Schefter was on it for some odd reason. And he said it's safe to say you could get your Jaden Daniels jerseys. And I tweeted it out on Friday because at that time at DraftKings, Jaden Daniels to go to the Commanders was minus 165. And depending on where you look, if you look at DraftKings right now, it's around minus 230. But I'll say this about Jaden Daniels going to the Washington Commanders. Could it happen? Sure. Should he be the favorite? Probably. Is he a lock at minus 240? No. And I really believe that. Adam Peters, the new general manager of the Washington Commanders, they have been a vault there in Ashburn, Virginia. And we'll ask this to Ben Standig. Now, you can read the tea leaves. They went out and got Cliff Kingsbury. Is he the type of quarterback, Jaden Daniels I'm speaking of, that they would like? Jaden Daniels, I believe, is in Washington right now for his top 30 visit. So I think Jaden Daniels may ultimately be the selection. But on April 15th, or if you want to go back to Friday, Jared, April 12th, whatever that was, I don't think the decision had been made already. So just be careful. We learned our lesson. I learned my lesson the hard way last year when it came to the C.J. Stroud situation and him definitely not going to Houston. They're not going to pick him at number 2. Well, they picked him at number 2. So I think Jaden Daniels should be the pick, but would I bet it at minus 240? No. Yeah. We've been saying this for weeks here on this show. At no point would I ever bet Jaden Daniels at minus odds to go to the Washington Commanders. Well, I'll reiterate. Could he go? Absolutely. But I do not think the information that has been out there leads you to a bet at minus 240. There might be other bets to make at minus 240. I mean, we talked about this a lot with JVT, Jared, where you look at draft betting, sometimes you got to eat the juice, and sometimes it pays massive dividends. I don't think this is one particular spot at this price that it is worth playing the juice at this point.
No, on any of the quarterbacks for me this year, unless you get in early at a really good number. I think the quarterback discourse is the thing that I am looking to avoid most this draft. And granted, by the time we get to this point in the process, most of the quarterback discourse has already been kind of, fished out by the market, right? Like Caleb Williams going 1, that has been completely sniffed out by the market. Oh, yeah. That's gone to the side. Now we move on to the number 2 pick. And what? So basically 2 weeks out from the draft is when that Schefter little nugget got dropped in.
Yep.
And the draft markets will have, about 10 days to digest it. And right now we haven't seen the immediate move that maybe you would think.
We saw from minus 165 to minus 240. Yeah, it's a
because let's hold on. Let me reframe this question for you and let me get your thoughts on this. If Adam Schefter tweeted it out instead of going on the podcast, if he tweeted out sources, the Washington Commanders have made their decision, but Jaden Daniels, blah, 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 what does the market move to? Probably higher than where it is now.
Because, no, you're right, but the way he phrased it was a very Schefter-like phrase, where it's like, I think,
And that's the problem I have with betting these markets,
right. So,
with the quarterbacks at least. I think the quarterback discourse, because of the high-profile nature of this position with the guys at the top of the draft, makes it very tricky to believe anything you hear from these top newsmakers at this stage.
Well, and as we've been talking about so much on this show, and we'll get into the movement we've seen in the total of quarterbacks drafted in the first round market, much to our delight, me and JVT, as we were able to grab it at plus 260 when we talked about it on the show, a number pretty readily available. It has now been on a steady decline. We do this a lot, right? We fall into love with quarterbacks. So we'll see. A week from Thursday, we'll see how many quarterbacks ultimately go on that Thursday evening. So a lot of NFL draft discussion to get to. As mentioned, Ben Standig will join us in the third hour of the program. Cody Decker, our good friend, will talk some baseball coming up here in just a little bit. Brian Geltzeiler from SiriusXM's NBA Radio later on this hour, as well as we have the play-in tournament all set. We've got lines out. We've got series prices for particular series that are available out there. And it's interesting when you look at some of these series prices right now where you're looking at, situations like Minnesota being an underdog to the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, that's pretty telling number, huh?
Right. You're looking at
market does not like Minnesota.
A pick'em series between Dallas and Los Angeles. It is really going to be super intriguing. If, let's say, the Los Angeles Lakers played the Oklahoma City Thunder, what would that series price be? There's also a lot of belief out there about the Lakers. Oh, they should tank the Tuesday game and go play, the Warriors and get the 8 seed. You do know that they went 1-7 against Sacramento and Golden State combined this year.
Tanking in a must-win game?
Right.
What's the line from Dodgeball? That's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off for them.
Yeah. I am not ready to go
This is like March Madness. I mean, honestly, I think the play-in game is the best thing that's happened to the NBA playoffs in a long time. Because I don't like the distance between, usually put 3 days off between games sometimes. I think the beginning of the NBA playoffs gets a little slow. I love that it's bang, right out of the gate. We get knockout games, and the fact that it's Lakers and Sixers and Embiid and, all these stars in this play-in tournament with, the Kings-Warriors rematch from last year, which is one of the best series of the whole postseason. And, of course, you get Zion versus LeBron, AD, and Ingram against their former teams. I mean, the NBA could not have asked for a better setup here.
No, there's no doubt. And right now, the New Orleans Pelicans.
Football season soon. Don't worry. We got a few more months left.
I got football in my mind. The New Orleans Pelicans, depending on where you look, either a 1-point favorite or a pick'em against the Los Angeles Lakers. Anthony Davis listed as questionable for tomorrow night's play-in game between the Lakers and the Pelicans. That's Jared Smith. I'm Tim Murray. By the way, free this hour on YouTube, youtube.com/VSiN Live. Cody Decker, he joins us next here on VSiN Primetime.
This is VSiN Primetime with Tim Murray and Jonathan Von Tobel on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
For a limited time, we're offering 2 weeks of our betting splits for free. Just sign up at vsin.com/splits. The VSiN betting splits page is updated with DraftKings odds every 5 minutes, so you can see changes in all the action. You can find out where the public's betting based on the number of tickets, where that money doesn't match the public opinion. Easy for me to say. Take advantage of this limited time offer, vsin.com/splits. Claim your 2 weeks of free access right now, vsin.com/splits. If you head over there right now, you could see that the Orioles are getting 85% of the bets against the Minnesota Twins this evening. I
know why they are, because they're facing Mr. Meatball himself, Louis Varland.
Well, we will get to a little best bets. I know Jared's got a host of them. I got one. I got to dip my toe into a little baseball betting. But let's
Hardball Murray over here.
Let's get into our progressive guest line and bring in our good friend, Cody Decker. You can catch him on SiriusXM's Mad Dog Radio every day with Michelle Beadle from noon to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. What are you laughing about?
He's doing his little thing. It's
You're
hilarious.
looking good, by the way.
Does.
You went full on, man. You went full on. It's Van Pelt and Stanford Steve would be proud of you that you just fully embraced it.
That beard, man.
The truth is, I was thinking about Halloween. I was like, do I want to be Picard or do I want to be Riker? And you know what? Why not both?
I don't even know where you go from there.
All right. Let's do big picture before we jump into the nitty-gritty. We're about 2 weeks into the season. Anything shock Cody Decker to this point that you just did not see coming?
You know what? I wouldn't say it's shock, because I did think that the Pirates were going to be good. Did I expect the Pirates to be this good right out the gate? No, I did not. What they're doing right now is what I was expecting to see out of the Reds. And you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm digging it. I'm digging what I'm seeing out of Pittsburgh. I think this is a good ball club. I think it's a fun ball club. And I'm looking forward to seeing their series against the Mets this week, next couple of days. In fact, I'll be at Citi Field at one of these games. The Pittsburgh Pirates has been a very, very fun start to the season. I still think the Reds are probably the best team in that division right now. The Brewers were off to a rocking start, but I do expect the Brewers to tail off a little bit in the Central. And a part of that has to do with, they got one basically arm, and that is Peralta. At the end of the day, Corbin Burns ain't over there anymore, and Brandon Woodruff is out for the year. Offensively, they're looking all right, but Christian Yelich might be a little banged up. So the way I look at this team, are they good? Yes. Are they the same Brewers as always, where they'll just, after every 10 games, be 5-5, 6-4, or right around that range? Yeah, they're always perennially meh. They're always just good enough to be good in the Central, but never good enough to go deep into the playoffs. So I'm not expecting much out of the Brewers. Pirates have been fun, man, and the Cubs need to get it together.
Yeah, I think the Brewers especially has really surprised me with Woodruff being out and now Yelich. I think both Pittsburgh and Milwaukee, we will see some regression there. The American League East, I didn't expect the Yankees to get off to the start that they did, especially with Garrett Cole on the shelf. It looks like Soto in the middle of that lineup. They bumped Volpe up to the top spot. I mean, that is just a brutal 1-2-3 with Judge in the 3-hole, and then you got to deal with Stanton in that cleanup spot. But I love this Orioles team. I mean, goodness gracious, they just keep calling up studs left and right. But Baltimore maybe doesn't quite have the offense to get them through the whole season. What do you think about the American League East? Are the Orioles a good buy right now as a dog?
I think they're definitely a good buy as a dog. However, I do think the Yankees are the best team in that division, and a lot of that is predicated on health. If the Yankees stay healthy, which obviously has been a big problem, that's been their Achilles heel over the last couple of years, I like the Yankees quite a bit. Granted, right now we're without Garrett Cole. And I know we should be excited to get Garrett Cole after his 60-day stint is up, but I would put a little bit of a break on that. It is an elbow injury, and I am worried about him when he comes back. They're probably not going to have his innings be ramped up quite as high. I wouldn't be expecting to see him past the fifth inning very often, even if he is healthy. On top of that, you're banking on Rodon to stay healthy. You're banking on Nestor to stay healthy. You're banking on Stroman to stay healthy. Here's the problem. Each one of those three pitchers spent significant time on the IL last year. So I'm hoping they all stay healthy, because if they do, this is the best team. If not just the American League East, it's the best team in the American League.
Wow. Cody Decker joining us here on VSiN PrimeTime. I always love catching up with our good friend Cody Decker. All right, I got to ask you what this young man is thinking right now. His name is Mitchell Parker, and I bring up his name because he is making his Major League debut tonight at Chavez Ravine, and he will be facing Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman out of the chute. Oh, by the way, it's Jackie Robinson Day at Chavez Ravine there in Los Angeles. So the number is astronomical. There may be a best bet regarding this game, but you once upon a time, Cody, had a Major League debut back in 2005. What is this 24-year-old kid thinking as he steps out on that hill at Dodger Stadium, and those are the first three guys he has to face?
One, I will answer your question, but 2005, I get that. I just shaved my head.
2015. Sorry.
You just gave me 10 years? I'll remember that. I will remember that. Anyways,
you look great for 50 years old, Cody.
By the way, if you had made your debut in 05, I mean, you would have been like Jackson Holiday. You'd be like 18 years old. So, that would have been something.
Yep, that is very true. What is this guy thinking? Oh God, we're all going to die. Seeing that lineup is probably what he's thinking. I don't know what you could possibly be thinking. It's Mookie Betts, followed by Shohei Ohtani, followed by Freddie Freeman. You talked about seeing those guys, that monstrous lineup over there in New York. I make the argument that 1 through 3 in LA is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh, don't worry, you get to breathe right afterwards because Will Smith, who's making $150 million, is on deck. Oh, don't worry, after that you can breathe because Max Muncy, who's like a 3-time All-Star, is on deck. Oh, don't worry, you can breathe because Teoscar Hernandez has like 30 RBIs already. This team is a monster, and I think the Dodgers are going to sleepwalk to 105 wins this year. What is this kid thinking? Probably something that I thought when I made my debut at Dodger Stadium. This is not going to go well.
So, fun fact, the Nationals are the only team in baseball that have yet to score a run in the first inning this year. And I would, if you want to lay $5, you can bet that again tonight against Tyler Glasnow. I don't know if it's going to happen tonight against Mr. Glasnow, but that should be a fun game. Another fun series. I love these early season interleague series amongst high-profile teams. Atlanta and Houston, not the best pitching matchup tonight, but diagnose the Astros the first 15 games of the year. 5 games under 500. The offense hasn't quite gotten up to speed yet, but the pitching, especially the rotation, really needs to pick it up.
Really, really does. Framber being down. Big blow. Verlander starting the year on the IL, big blow. And who knows what version of Verlander we're going to get. It's a shoulder injury. I'm hoping he comes back and looks like a semblance of the old Verlander, but the guy is in his 40s. I mean, what can we really expect? The diagnosis of this team, hey, it's a new manager. The team you can't deny it. They're getting older. Alex Bregman is getting older. Jose Altuve, I'm shocked at the extension because the guy's getting older. Granted, the guy's playing great to start the year. But this team, I'm not going to sit here and say they're a bad team. I still think they're going to get it together and make a playoff run as a wild card potentially. But I think the dynastic run we've seen of the Astros, I think it's finally come to an end. I think they're the second or maybe even third best team within their own division, let alone the American League. So it's going to be a good series. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Astros can do and see if they can dig themselves out of this hole. But let's not mince words here, man. Dusty Baker was a very awesome man to play for, and don't think that Dusty not being there ain't a big deal. It is.
Cody Decker joining us here on VSiN Primetime. You can catch him each and every weekday with Michelle Beadle on SiriusXM's Mad Dog Radio, noon to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, let's pivot to a corner that you love, near and dear to your heart, deep down there in your soul. You're a Lakers guy. And the Lakers, very impressive yesterday, just bullied the New Orleans Pelicans. They're 3-1 this year against the Pels. They are now a pick'em or a +1, depending on where you look, against the Pels tomorrow night in the play-in tournament. Do they win, or, Cody, are you going to give us the whole spiel that they should tank this game to avoid the Denver Nuggets?
How dare you make such a suggestion that the one team the Lakers can't beat, if they beat the Pelicans, they should tank the game so they should get a different opponent. I am definitely not saying the Lakers should do that. That's a terrible, terrible, despicable idea for you to make a suggestion that the Lakers should tank the game against the Pelicans that they can easily win because they absolutely own the Pelicans. They definitely should win against the Pelicans.
Enough said.
But
an elimination game.
Only 1-7 against the Kings and Warriors.
Ooh.
What are they against the Nuggets? 0-75?
I think they've lost 9 straight, 8 or 9 straight.
Yeah, I want none of that smoke. Although you could make the argument that the Lakers meeting up with the Nuggets early might be best case scenario because the old bodies that the Lakers do have. So listen, they're going to have to run into the Nuggets sooner or later if they're looking to get to the NBA Finals anyways. You might as well just get it out of the way early, which, who are we kidding? They're going to get their asses kicked 4-0.
LeBron James averaged over 25 points, 8 assists, and 7 rebounds this year. Dude's in his 21st season.
He's the GOAT.
Ridiculous. All right, Cody, you're the man. Look at sharp. Appreciate it.
Real GOAT.
Go Lakers!
He doesn't believe it. He wants them to lose. All right, our best bets for tonight. They're coming up next.
This is VSiN Primetime with Tim Murray and Jonathan Von Tobel on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Make sure you head on over to VSiN.com, our beautiful website there, sparkling, getting you ready for the NBA play-in tournament. Zachary Cohen's article is up there right now. Make sure you check it out. Also have first 5 bets from JVT coming up tomorrow as well. So make sure you head over to VSiN.com. That's Jared Smith. I'm Tim Murray. It is VSiN Primetime. Brian Geltzeiler will be joining us here in 15 minutes to give an early look at the NBA playoffs. The play-in tournament starts tomorrow. Both Western Conference games tomorrow because the Wells Fargo Center is being occupied by the Philadelphia Flyers. So the Philadelphia 76ers unable to play tomorrow night. So they'll be playing on Wednesday. So 2 Western Conference on Tuesday, 2 Eastern on Wednesday, and then the final games of the play-in tournament will take place on Friday. Lakers right now, depending on where you look, a 1-point dog to the Pelicans. The Golden State Warriors, a 2.5-point road favorite against the Sacramento Kings, who, of course, will be without Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter. Some more on the NBA playoffs as the show goes on, and including with Brian Geltzeiler here in just a little bit. Let's get to it. Our best bets for tonight. Nope.
Oh, I was wondering if you wanted me to jump in there or what you're doing on that one, bud.
All right. We good?
How was your night?
That was good.
What'd you have for lunch?
Had a little egg salad, you know?
Oh,
it's feeling
Mastersy.
Was feeling it after our little Masters.
I bought some pimento cheese olives over the weekend to celebrate the Masters.
We had a yummy pimento and cheese sandwich. All right, let's just get into it. Jared, you've got a litany of plays. So
I'll go
what
through
do you
a few
got there?
here. I'll give you a few props first. I am betting this Colton Cowser home run prop against the Twins tonight, 7-1 on that little nugget. And I also bet his H to the double R's, I'm calling it, hits to the runs and the RBIs. I love this Cowser kid. H to the double R, baby. I think he's going to win American League Rookie of the Year. I think Holiday's the overpriced one. Cowser hits higher in the lineup. I think he'll have more RBI opportunities. So 4 homers, 12 ribbies in his last 6 games. He's one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now. If you don't know who he is, better recognize Colton Cowser facing Louis Varland tonight for the Twins. I bet him to go deep. Also the HRR. Gunnar Henderson as well. Same thing. This Orioles lineup at the top is absolutely stacked. I love Henderson, and the guys behind him just keep hitting, and Varland's numbers are absolutely terrible.
By the way, this game starts in like 3 minutes.
So get it in right now. You got a few more minutes to get this one in, but Mets money line was my play of the day.
Okay.
It kind of goes back. This is one of the situational spots that I like. You get a Pirates team coming off an emotional win. Andrew McCutchen hit his 300th home run yesterday. They won at Philly, in-state rivalry. They blew out the Phillies. They're one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. The Mets are not one of the hottest teams in baseball. But why are they favored, and why is the market moving in the Mets' direction? Well, Martin Perez pitching for the Pirates tonight, and the Mets absolutely smash lefties this year. So that's the handicap. That's why the market likes the Mets. I think this is one of those spots where people see the Pirates, you see the plus sign, you see the fact that they're one of the best records in baseball, and then it's like, oh, the Mets, they stink. Sure, on any given night they could, but the pitching matchup tonight with Perez on the mound, the Mets smash lefty. So we'll go to the well on the Metropolitans. Text Dave Ross, have him to say a little prayer. Hopefully the Mets get home for us, but that I would say that's my play of the day.
All right, Mets on the money line, minus 122, minus 125 at DraftKings, so all kind of in that same ballpark of price, minus 122. No NBA tonight. A bunch of NHL games on the docket this evening. A lot of games of importance in the NHL with my Washington Capitals at home taking on the Boston Bruins. There's a fight for that final spot in the wild card. But I'm gonna go to I'm gonna do a little baseball play tonight. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Timmy Hardball.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. So I mentioned this to Cody just a moment ago. So the Washington Nationals are on a lengthy West Coast road trip. They went out to San Francisco first. They took 2 of 3 from the Giants. They lost 2 of 3 to the A's, blew a 6-1 lead yesterday. And now they're headed to Dodger Stadium to take on the Los Angeles Dodgers on Jackie Robinson Day. And the Dodgers, oh, by the way, just dropped 2 of 3 to the Padres, losing last night to the San Diego Padres. Always fun games. The atmosphere, by the way, and those Dodger-Padres games are phenomenal.
Yes, sir.
But I mentioned that Mitchell Parker is going to be making his Major League debut. He is not a highly touted prospect for the Nationals. You're going up against a lineup that, as you all know by now, starts with Betts, Ohtani, and Freeman. So you got to get a little creative. What could go wrong laying a 2.5 run line here, Jared? Because that's the
You're laying it?
You got to.
Wow.
So we're going to go Dodgers on the alt run line, which is minus 105 here at Circa.
Gracious.
So I just this has the makings. Like if you want to relate,
buying into the chalky nature of this month.
So.
I like it.
Yeah.
No, listen, chalk March chalk,
go.
April chalk.
Yeah.
Hey, chalk it up, baby.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
It's a little happiness hedge. If my Nats, well, actually, it's not really, because if my Nats lose by 2, I'd be mad, and the Dodgers.
You'll be furious if they lose by 1 or 2.
If you want to lay $2 on the first 5, be my guest.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's an expensive one, but this one just has.
I love it.
This one has beat down all over the place. So we're gonna go chalky chalkerson here with the Nationals against the Dodgers. Late night game, so at least I don't have to sweat it out here on the
it'd
show.
be better if you did have to sweat it out.
All right, so we're gonna go Dodgers on the alt run line minus 2.5.
Love it.
Nothing like laying an alt run line in April. One of the biggest spreads we've seen. I think the second biggest spread so far this Major League Baseball season. You can get as high as there's a shop even dealing it at minus 430 with the Dodgers.
I looked it up earlier. The $3 favorites in baseball have not been profitable.
They don't do well. They
win, but they don't win enough to outrun the juice.
Exactly. And under normal circumstance, that's why I'm not going to lay $3.95.
No, the best bet to make in this game is to lay $2 and to bet that Jackson kid over 15.5 pitches in the first inning.
Over 50. So you love this is a prop market. So you've been tweeting this out. You could follow Jared on Twitter at Jared Lee Smith. So you've been tweeting this out. So
I'll tweet him out every day that I bet him. I promise you will see it. If I bet it, you'll see him.
You have been the father of the first inning. Shouts to Dustin Sweetelson.
Shout Justin.
But what way do you normally? So I'm looking at your Twitter page right now. You put out 5 over/under first inning pitches props. So give us the insight into how the hell you went into these.
Well, I was scanning through one of the books that I use very often. Now that MGM's here in town, the real MGM's here in town, we can bet all the props that the national, usually gets that us here in Nevada were not privy to until the Super Bowl. It's funny how the Super Bowl coming to Nevada changed everyone's perspective on getting all the sports books legalized here, right? And all the props and all the fun stuff that all the public likes to bet. So this is a new market, and it's a brand new market. It's a market that has never been released until this season. It's being officially tagged a first inning exotic market. I just think of it as a process bet instead of a results bet. It's the same process as my Yerfy Nerfy. I try to find pitchers that I think are going to struggle in the opening inning when we're betting Yerfies. I haven't found as much value on the no side, the underside yet, because to me, the way I handicap these games, pitchers are just trying to get through the first inning. If they get ahead, especially certain ones that have high walk rates, they will waste pitches. 0-2, all of a sudden it's 2-2. Foul ball. There's a 6-pitch at bat, and nothing's happened in the game yet, but you've already burned through over a third of what the allotted pitches are for that inning based off of what the book is hanging us. So I think these bets, to me, it's the same process as I normally do with Yerfy Nerfy. I'm looking for, on the yes side, high walk rate, low ground ball rate. We want to avoid the double plays, and high ERA, expected FIP, all the things that we normally look at when we're trying to fade a pitcher. So to me, this is just a bet where I want to be rewarded for a pitcher grinding through the inning, and I don't want to be penalized for a bases loaded, 2 outs. The pitcher's like gassed and he can barely breathe on the mound, and then he gets the little strikeout or the pop out to end the inning and then settles down, and of course we lose our Yerfy bet. So to me, this is just a change up off of the usual Yerfy strategy, and I love these bets.
So you're going Mitchell Parker
over 15.5. His first start, he has to face Betts, Ohtani, and Freeman.
Gonna mow him down.
Yeah, he's gonna go 9 pitches. Immaculate inning. Sure, right.
Brian Geltzeiler going to join us coming up here in 5 minutes. So recap real quickly of the best bets. Mets on the money line.
Mets on the money line.
And Colton Cowser.
Home run, hits the double R, over,
and
1.5.
I will go with the alt run line with the Dodgers tonight.
I love you for betting
minus 2.5.
Is it the first time you bet an alt run line in your entire baseball life?
Probably.
Mark it down.
There might have been one game where Cody convinced me, I think last year, where I bet some sort of alt.
Cody's good at convincing people things.
So we will dive into the series prices that are available, look into the play-in tournament that gets started tomorrow as well. Brian Geltzeiler going to join us right now at DraftKings. Clippers-Mavs, a pick'em series, while Suns a slight minus 120 favorite over the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Western Conference is going to be unbelievable, to say the least there. Brian Geltzeiler next.
This is VSiN Primetime with Tim Murray and Jonathan Von Tobel on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Don't miss out on any of the NBA playoff action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. From the play-in tournament through the finals, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code VSiN. New customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Once again, the code to use, VSIN, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Alongside Jared Smith, I am Tim Murray. It is VSiN Prime Time. NBA play-in tournament gets going tomorrow. The 2 Western Conference games will get you started with the Los Angeles Lakers right now a 1-point underdog at the New Orleans Pelicans. The Golden State Warriors are a 2.5-point road favorite against the Sacramento Kings on Wednesday. Atlanta at Chicago and Miami at Philadelphia. To help us break it down and also look ahead to the NBA playoffs, Brian Geltzeiler from SiriusXM's NBA Radio joins us right now on our progressive guest line. You can catch him Saturday and Sunday mornings on SiriusXM's NBA Radio at BGeltz NBA on Twitter. Brian, let's start with tomorrow, and we'll start with the Lakers and the Pelicans. Boy, it was an impressive showing from the Lakers yesterday to get the 8th seed, to avoid the 9-10, winner-go-home situation. But now the discussion starts, the Lakers really should throw this game so they can avoid the Denver Nuggets heading in to the first round of the playoffs. What do you expect to see tomorrow night? Anthony Davis listed as questionable, dealing with those back spasms that he obtained late in the game against the Pelicans. What's your feel on tomorrow night down in New Orleans, Lakers at the Pelicans?
First of all, let me say this, guys, the entire thought process that the Lakers should throw this game, maybe one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life.
I agree.
It's flat out idiotic. So throw that one so you can put yourself in a win-or-go-home situation, because you ended up achieving enough during the regular season that you actually are in a situation where you don't – let's lose intentionally so we can put ourselves in a must-win situation or a season end. It's too stupid to even
against. By the way, Brian, real quickly, just to jump in, against two teams that are combined 7-1 against you, and a team in the Warriors that, Steph Curry could go nuclear and adios season, right?
That's it. You have to do what you have to do, and you can't. Right? Listen, when you fall into the play-in, you don't get the luxury of picking your opponents. You just got to go win basketball games. The other thing is this: Lakers are playing well, and listen, I know Anthony Davis is questionable. I would be shocked if he doesn't find a way out there. The dude played 76 games this year. He's busted his hump to get to this point. He's had an all-NBA quality season, and he'll be out there tomorrow. He will be. And listen, for the Lakers right now, I don't want to say they're peaking at the right time, but they're playing really good basketball. And the reality is this, for the Lakers, LeBron James, Anthony Davis on your team, every year we want to win a title. That's it. We're not there's no compromises there. There's no, hey, you know what? We got to a conference final. It was okay. You don't know what year's going to be LeBron James's last year. You want to go as hard as you can every single time. And if you want to go to the finals, that means you got to figure out a way to beat the Denver Nuggets. And it doesn't matter if it's in the first round or the conference finals. You got to find a way to beat the Denver Nuggets. So, listen, I like where the Lakers stand right now. The Pelicans, are going to get a little bit of a wake-up call, I feel like, even though the game's at home for them. Just in the reality of this is a team that's got LeBron and AD who have won a championship on it, and they won a championship together. The Lakers are playing tough. The Pels are in a situation where they may have to play a little bigger than they're comfortable playing. Valanciunas is somebody you can take advantage of on the defensive end of the floor. It's not the best matchup here for New Orleans. We saw a little bit of it yesterday with the Lakers knocking them around. And I think, listen, one of the things that, guys, where you can overrate in the playoffs is how teams played during the regular season and how they met. Scheduling has so much to do with that. And when you get into the playoffs and it's one-and-done stuff, the intensity is different. It all just plays differently. Here's the other thing we also have to remember about NBA coaches. Any coach worth their weight in salt in this league holds stuff back till the playoffs. So you're not seeing their best on either end of the floor. There's plays and sets that haven't been run on offense and defenses that haven't been unveiled yet. Now we get to see the best of what everybody's got.
Brian, the late game is win or go home, right? The Lakers don't want to be in that situation later in the week, but tomorrow night's game is win or go home for Warriors-Kings. We've seen actually both the Western Conference games take significant money to the under. Of course, Malik Monk being out for Sacramento. Their offense has kind of been through a loop this year. We know the problems the Warriors have had. Both teams defensively have kind of been percolating the last, I would say, 2 weeks. Are we going to see a grinder tomorrow night between Golden State and Sacramento? Because these teams know each other very well from the playoffs last year.
Well, I'll go out on a limb here and tell you this, that I'd be surprised if the Warriors lose this game.
Wow.
First of all, I understand this year. Last year, the Warriors were a horrible road team, absolutely atrocious. This year they've got one of the best road records in the league, with 25-16 on the road. They're coming into this thing totally healthy. The thing for the Warriors is this: if they can get out of the play-in, they're going to be a brutal out here, because all the injuries they had, all the missed time by Draymond, and everything they had to go through has allowed them to cultivate 3 young players that are major contributors for them right now. Pajemski's a really nice player. They moved into the starting lineup, moved Thompson to the bench, then moved Thompson back into the starting lineup, and Pajemski to the bench, and everybody's been comfortable in roles. That's been terrific. Kuminga had a fantastic stretch, and as a bench weapon, he's terrific for them. And then, listen, Trace Jackson-Davis, for the number 57 overall pick, is going to be starting on a team here in the play-in tournament, and he's done a really good job for them. Does a lot of excellent things that, besides shoot the basketball, he's not a wonderful shooter. Every other part of his game is strong, right down to passing and ball handling and defense. He certainly switches well with the guys on the perimeter. So you get the young group to go along with your old guys who have been there a couple times. The Warriors are a tough out. This is a nightmare matchup for Sacramento. Sacramento's season went south when Monk and Herter got hurt, because it took away so much perimeter shooting and that's been something that they need. They need those 2 guys desperately, because when you can load up on Fox and Sabonis doesn't have outlets for him to be able to go to create open shots, it takes away a lot of his effectiveness out high as a dribble handoff guy. So I look at that game. I think the Warriors are better than their record. Draymond's a vital guy to what they do, and very, very important guy. And the other thing is this: I know the last 2 games, Sabonis had 9 assists apiece. Before that, his assists have kind of fallen off a cliff without Monk and Herter there. So that's something to watch as well. But I think that the Warriors end up underseeded because of the amount of time that Draymond Green missed, and then the Sacramento Kings are going to be the first team that suffers because of that.
Brian Geltzeiler joining us here on VSiN Primetime on our Progressive Guest Line. You can catch him Saturday and Sunday morning on SiriusXM's NBA Radio. We know 4 matchups right now for the NBA playoffs, and I think one that, well, I would say majority of them intrigue most casual fans, but the one that intrigues me the most, at least from a betting perspective, is this Bucks-Pacers series, because of the uncertainty regarding Giannis, and also the fact that the Pacers own the Bucks, Brian, for the most part during the year, right? 4-1. There's some chippiness, bad blood between these 2 teams. Right now, the Bucks are the favorite. Pacers are at plus 140 to win this series. What do you expect to see come Sunday when this series starts in Milwaukee?
First of all, this was the game that had the game ball incident.
That's
guys.
right. Yes, they took the game ball.
The one game they won was the game ball incident. Giannis scored over 60, and Oscar Tshiebwe scored his first NBA bucket, and the Pacers took the ball. So that you have that bad blood added to this. Listen, the Bucks are betwixt and between here, because the Bucks are not a title team. They're not built well enough to be that. They don't have the requisite wings that you need. The thing to realize about the Bucks, they traded 5 second-round picks last year at the trade deadline for Jay Crowder, and he couldn't get on the floor as a wing. This year, they've been hurting without him, and he's another year older. Okay, last year couldn't get on the floor. This year, if they didn't have him, they're in trouble. Like, that's how bad it's gotten for them depth-wise. This Giannis thing is a conundrum for the Bucks, because you're going to listen. The sooner you bring him back, the more risk you take on a massive injury. This calf injury he had, non-contact calf injury, was the same calf injury Kevin Durant had in the 2019 playoffs. The Warriors push, got him back in the NBA Finals against the Raptors. The dude played 14 minutes of that game and burst his Achilles. If you're the Bucks, I almost feel like maybe you hold Giannis out a little bit early in the series, see where the tenor of the series is going, and decide if you're going to put him out there, because if the series is going to go bad on you, you might as well not. Here's the one problem the Bucks have. You say, okay, well, we're going to rest. In that case, we're going to look to reload, make sure we have him healthy for next season. Giannis can play in the Olympics for Team Greece. So you can't rest him that long, because he's going to do that, and you're not going to be able to stop him. So the Bucks have a little bit of a problem here. Listen, I don't think the Pacers are built to be a really good, tough playoff team. I don't think Milwaukee is either. I mean, Damian Lillard is the dude's a statue defensively. It was just a horrible, horrible trade. They'd be so much better off right now with Holiday and Grayson Allen. And listen, I blame them for bending to Giannis. That's what they did. Now, they got him on the extension, but that's what they did. So, listen, I think it's a tough spot for the Bucks here.
Brian, great stuff. Enjoy the play-in tournament, and we'll talk to you soon.
You got it, guys. Take care.
There he is, Brian Geltzeiler on our Progressive Guest Line, SiriusXM NBA Radio. That's Jared Smith. I'm Tim Murray. Odds are moving regarding Jaden Daniels and where he'll land. Should we believe it?